Happy New Year! It's only a few days until the craziness of work starts again. So here are two recommendations of what you could do in the days before that. They both are photography exhibitions. One is about Lee Miller, it's on at the Tate Britain. The other one is about Cecil Beaton at the National Portrait Gallery. I want to tell you why I love them so much, how are they astoundingly different, and why you may want to consider seeing them both. At the end of the video, I will give you links of how to find out more, and I will give you a film recommendation that really surprised me. Now, of course, if you want to treat yourself to a professional massage, let me tell you that my clinic is already open in Bloomsbury in central London. Just go to middlemar.co.uk and book yourself in for a slot if you find one that suits you. Let's start with Lee Miller. Now, both photographers lived roughly at the same time. They did somewhat similar work. Lee Miller started her career as a fashion model. The exhibition is arranged chronologically, so you can see many of those shots. It then continues with her collaboration with Man Ray. Yeah, collaboration, because as much as some people want to tell you that she was simply his muse, what she did was, when she found out how important he was, she just went to his apartment and said, "Hello, I'm your new apprentice." In the beginning, he didn't want to hear about it, but she persisted, and there we go. And to be fair, in their long collaboration, some of the photographs we don't even know whether they were taken by him or her. That way, she also inserted herself into the cultural life of the avant-garde in Paris in the late 20s and 30s. And finally, we get to that section of the Second World War. Now, her work as a war correspondent left her with PTSD, and she struggled the rest of her life with depression. Not only did she experience live action in Saint-Malo, but she also went to Dachau when it was liberated, the concentration camp near Munich. She then went on to take a photograph, or have her photograph taken rather, in the bathtub of Hitler's apartment in Munich, possibly a photograph that she's most famous for. Now, it then continues with, after the war, with a lot of photography about famous people, also some obscure painter called Picasso from Spain. Don't know whether you've heard about him. She had all kinds of interesting connections. Unfortunately, she never got over the PTSD from the war and suffered a lot from depression and alcoholism in her later life. It is a fantastically varied exhibition because her work is fantastically varied. Now, stunning variety, I don't know whether that is something I would say about Cecil Beaton, but stunning beauty is certainly the case. There are many astounding photographs in the exhibition, but the most impressive one, I would think, is right at the beginning, just because of the way it is put across the whole wall. This is alone makes the exhibition worth seeing. And then, of course, there are the famous photographs like the one of Princess Margaret in the Dior dress. So, and it goes on and on and on with Audrey Hepburn. It's a beautiful exhibition. However, let's have a look at his idea of war photography, which he claimed was amongst his most important works. Now, the exhibition catalogue talks about his war photography in a rather troubling way, about how Beaton was alert to spectacle, the theatre of war, and how he portrayed the fighter pilots and tank drivers as star players, giving them heroic beauty. So I can see the point, but does that really contribute to the necessary documentation of the horrors of the Second World War? I don't know. He's also famous for this photograph of a victim of the Blitz, and this made it onto the cover of Life magazine and apparently helped the American public understand what was going on in London at the time. On a much darker note, I learned in this exhibition that he inserted an anti-Semitic meme in a drawing for American Vogue, which led to the magazine pulping its whole print run and indeed firing him. It took him a long time to rebuild his reputation in America. Both astounding exhibitions. If you want to see both, maybe you want to start with the Lee Miller and then go to the National Portrait Gallery. They are maybe 30 minutes walk apart. Taxi. Now, if you want to stay at home, you can get those catalogs on Amazon. I'll put you a link in the description. Please keep in mind that I will get a tiny percentage if you buy them through that link. They're heavily discounted there. If you want to buy them directly from the museums, you can do that from their websites. Now, the exhibitions are on every day at the Tate Britain for the Lee Miller, which is on the river near the Parliament, and at the National Portrait Gallery, which is near Trafalgar Square. The tickets to Lee Miller are £20, the ones to Cecil Beaton £23. Consider buying a membership of either or both of those museums, because then you can go all year round as many times as you like. A +1 membership allows you to take a friend. That may well pay for itself in a very short period of time. What you can get completely for free is a PDF I put together for you with links to very interesting podcasts. There's an interview with Lee Miller's son. There is a BBC documentary about Cecil Beaton that has very interesting excerpts from his notebooks, and he says the most offensive things about some of his models. And finally, of course, it includes a map and all the detail you may need for the exhibition. So you find the link in the description. You can get that for free, or just go to middlemile.co.uk. There's a link there as well. I almost forgot, I promised you a film recommendation. You may have heard of this. I had not. Kate Winslet did a film about Lee Miller called Lee. In my opinion, it's amazing. Some of the critics didn't like it, thought it was too slow-paced. Maybe Lee Miller was more complex than this film. It's 2 hours long. I mean, how much complexity can you put in 2 hours without being overbearing? I loved it. Don't expect a deep dive into her various love lives, but it is, in my opinion, a really good overview of what she accomplished. Well worth seeing, in my opinion. It's available in the UK on Sky. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the beginning of the new year and see you soon.